Hello, my name is Vidyangi, and I'm here today to share the contents of the first chapter of my book, Vertical Living: Find Your Inner Guru and Be a High Performer with Purpose. By way of this book, I challenge you to find the superpower in you. Namaste, I dedicate this book to that superpower in you. Preface: setting the stage. What makes people think differently and find success in realizing themselves? How did people who changed the face of physics, art, mobile communication, space travel muster the courage to stand by their path-breaking ideas? How did the world's youngest billionaire manage to choose his enterprise over formal schooling? What does it take to realize the unthinkable and make it a reality? There are a lot of brilliant people with great academic backgrounds, multiple degrees and certificates adorning their resume. But what sets the game changers apart? These are a few questions I have asked myself all my life. When I talk to people about this, I got to hear many different perspectives. So I decided, finally, that I would figure it all out by myself. I went on a break from a predictable lifestyle of being a busy working mom with a 9-to-5 job and a secure paycheck. I became a full-time writer. Why writer? I had previously done a lot of blogging and public speaking as an amateur. I discovered I was good at it. Besides, I loved doing it. I had managed to create a loyal following of people who liked to hear me speak and loved what I wrote. They tried to cajole me into writing a book many a time in the past. Authoring a book had been on my wish list for a few years, but to go all out and pursue it required me to overcome my inner fears of exploring the unknown. A few of my friends who heard about my hiatus from work life questioned my credibility as a hobby speaker and a writer. I stuck to my gut feeling in this matter and did not go back on my decision. All my doubts were quelled when a mentor who I looked up to and idolized showed confidence in my enterprise. I went ahead with the idea of writing this book and have not looked back since. In the book, I bring to you my first-hand experience in starting off without a paycheck and following your inner calling. About me. I was born and raised in Bengaluru, the Silicon capital of India. When I was growing up, Bengaluru was a melting pot of diverse cultures, languages, traditions, and a home to the birth of many new tech companies. I was part of a large joint family, and my home was buzzing with friends and family members moving in and out all the time. Charity in education and food, alongside sharing and donating resources, was a way of life for me and my sister. Both my parents are doctors, and they own a hospital in the southern part of the city. During most of the time I spent with my parents, I was involved in discussion of strategies in managing teams at work and at home. My sister and I spent most part of our summer vacations in yoga camps. Example, attending workshops in Siddhi Samadhi Yoga, camps conducted by Ramakrishna Mission, and also at the Institute of Human Potential and Development run by Dr. Bharat Chandra, Asia's #1 success coach in Bengaluru. As a result, our discussions at dinner or lunch were constantly centered on the concepts in attitude, personality, and altered states of the conscious mind for dealing with changes in personal and professional lives. My mom constantly emphasized strategies that involved combining energy healing and alternative medicine as applied in conjunction with allopathic medicine. Not a day went by where we did not discuss about the power of prayer, meditation, or the meaning of karma as explained in ancient Indian philosophy, which was later reiterated by Edgar Cayce and Dr. Brian Weiss in the Western world. I went to a Christian missionary school for my primary and middle schooling, and very early in my life I started seeing parallels in the Eastern and Western philosophies in self-realization. In my understanding, every religion in the world is aimed at the path to self-realization. It was interesting that my parents were able to tie up the concepts in self-realization into their journey in entrepreneurship. It was only second nature to them because they started off their career planning to be entrepreneurs. Both my parents worked round the clock for most of the year. And as far as I can recall, they seldom had a predictable routine. They were always on the go, and work to them was a way of life. They were savvy about business and profit, but serving the needy for free was a concept that they reiterated every day. I will never forget the time when my mom fasted and prayed for her patients to come out of critical illness, and how she would help ameliorate pain during childbirth using techniques in pranic healing. My life and ideas are deeply rooted in self-realization and entrepreneurship, which have been the pillars of my upbringing. My life has led me to see the underlying principles common to both Eastern and Western philosophies and religion. I find my peace in the principles that guide nature and life itself. They in turn can explain any philosophy on earth from east to west. I call this the philosophy of the heart, or the philosophy of the inner calling. I will talk about it all through the book. Growing up watching my dad as an entrepreneur. The challenges of thriving in an entrepreneurial ecosystem are not new to me. Very early in the journey of my life, I frequently crossed paths with innovators and entrepreneurs. I grew up watching my dad go through the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. The ideas in this book have been waiting to see the light of the day ever since I was a child, and I saw him put his life on the line to make his vision a reality. My dad is a self-made man. He's one of the 8 siblings in a large, lower-class, blended family. He hails from a small village in South India where education is treated as a luxury. Having him as my closest guide and mentor, and listening to his stories of how he realized his dreams in Bengaluru has made me relate to entrepreneurship as a way of life. The greatest lessons he has taught me is to stay alert and aware at all times, and not let the past come in the way of the present or future. He is a huge risk taker, judging by the opportunities he had to turn down to start off on his own. He has balanced his risk-taking ability with a high degree of intuition, teamwork, calm, rational, thorough and detailed planning, hard work, and unmatched dedication to the task which he applies himself. He has inspired me in many ways to examine various approaches in maximizing human potential. My childhood in Bengaluru, the Silicon Valley of India. I'm very much able to relate to the life of Silicon Valley in California because the Bengaluru I grew up was also hailed as Silicon Valley of India. It was a fertile ground nurturing research and development in physical and life sciences and information technology. The city I remember as a child was home to people from diverse backgrounds in terms of language, religion, culture, food habits, and lifestyles. Such an open mindset supported the growth and evolution of a culture of constant innovation, very much like the Silicon Valley in California today. Throughout my childhood and adolescent years, I was frequently thrust into the epicenter of groundbreaking innovations, which turned the tides of social psyche into the age of internet. I distinctly recall how the dot-com boom, the dot-com bubble, and the recession that followed deeply affected my job search and also guided the trends in career and education in my peer group. The digital era for me redefined technology, redefined the meaning of relationships and values, and changed my whole perspective of life itself. All of a sudden, I switched to cell phones instead of dial phones, and typing instead of writing by hand, and to become extremely cautious about sharing my identity and information over the internet. In the blink of an eye, I watched myself and my whole world transition from being slow and limited in access to resources to a powerful and unimaginably fast age of digital communication with endless possibilities. This digital world was also shallow at the same time, because it was in many ways a world of virtual realities only. I saw the emergence of communities for dating online, friendships and matrimony online across multiple nationalities, and many more entrepreneurs emerging in the digital space as they had access to larger amounts of data and a larger audience, all at the click of a mouse. In my book, I draw from this transition in my life quite heavily, just to reiterate the concept of being connected with yourself amidst the unlimited opportunities and allures offered by the digital era. Why self-realization? Self-realization means realizing your true inner potential, or in other words, knowing and accepting yourself in all your strengths and weaknesses. All religions intend to prescribe a lifestyle or set of practices that lead you to self-realization so you can maximize your potential. For example, in Hinduism, there is a practice of chanting during prayers. Chanting a mantra is a way of meditation because it aligns the mind to the act of saying something repeatedly. Since it is an act of reverence, there is a sense of purity and devotion while chanting. This is a great way to focus the mind. Many people do not chant or follow religion, but when they perform their daily activities, they do it with the same degree of devotion and purity as recommended during chanting. Their personal potential is as maximized in daily activities as it would be for a person who chants prayer or during prayer or meditation. But there are also religions that believe in doing good deeds as a path to self-realization. Example, in Hinduism there is a yoga called karma yoga, where people achieve self-realization by way of their daily jobs or actions in daily routine. By way of this book, I call upon my reader to follow their inner calling and adopt vertical living as a lifestyle to maximize their inner potential. Vertical living could be a choice of any of these paths which I described, or it could be a path which is very customized to you. Everything you ever felt or experienced in your life is by way of your body and your mind. If you do not understand how your body and mind are changing, you will fall short of assessing your strengths and weaknesses. If you don't know your strengths and weaknesses, you will not be able to set reasonable goals. You will end up wasting your life in chasing unreasonable goals, and life is too precious to be wasted. The only way to live life is by experiencing it fully every single moment all the way. The only place to do this is to start by knowing yourself. I call this lifestyle as vertical living. A living where you know yourself in your strengths and weaknesses. I will talk more about this as I take you through the book. But why vertical living as a lifestyle? I was raised with this background in India about self-realization. And I almost reset my framework when I came to United States for my higher studies. I took it upon myself to reinvent myself.